Did I breastfeed? Okay. So when I had my first son, Jackson, who's 5 now, I breastfed for like a week, but I didn't really like it too much. It's supposed to always be like this like bonding experience between your mother and child, but it was not a bonding experience at all. I hated doing it because it hurt so bad. And I think I never let myself like relax enough in order to enjoy the experience, and I probably always tensed up a lot. And he also, once he would latch on, would only go for it for maybe like a minute or two, and then would fall asleep. And the second I would try to take him off, he would latch back on. So I didn't want him to be like a human pacifier. I didn't want to be a human pacifier. And I know what she's getting into. And and he also, again, like during the week that I did it, I was also giving him formula too. And go get the juice box. And I was lucky because he took to the nipple and he was fine with the formula too. And then after that, I was done. I was happy that I did it, tried it. I gave him like the colostrum, right? That's what it's called, I think, which I know is like the healthy thing to do. So once that was done, I felt like I had done my job this time. Here, what do you say? You're welcome. And I was lucky. I was glad because it's a lot to breastfeed, and then I had other people that could feed him, which was nice. And then when I had Layla, and she's a year and a half now, I breastfed with her. She actually fed off of me for a week, but then my nipples were bleeding and hurt a lot. And I tried formula with her right away. She wouldn't drink it. She wouldn't take it. So then I just pumped, and I pumped for about 3 weeks, but I was producing less and less milk because I don't think I was eating enough calories and drinking enough milk, or drinking enough water. So the last week I just would do like half breast milk, half formula in a bottle to transition her. And again, I was lucky with her because she took it well. So that was that. But she was better about breastfeeding. She actually would eat it, like would drink, unlike Jackson, who fell asleep.
And did you see a lactation consultant? Did anybody ever help you with latching on?
Yeah, when I was in the hospital at Paoli, there's a lactation nurse consultant. I don't know what, either one, I guess. I can't remember her name, but she was the same for both of them, and she was awesome. She wasn't pushy at all. She would come by. She came by both of them the day after I had them, because I had both of them fairly like early in the morning. So she came by. She made sure that you're like, you know what you're doing, but she wasn't pushy in any way, shape, or form. Just like encourage you to try, but also encourage you to do what was going to be best for you, which you appreciate a lot, especially after giving birth. And yeah, and they give you like nipple cream and tell you like the best ways to protect your nipples and best thing for them. And that's kind of it. They give you like brochures and things like that and numbers to call if you want help, but I never, I guess, use my resources at all. The pediatrician that comes around in the hospital, he was very pushy. And I didn't like that at all. Just because, they're not the ones like at home waking up in the middle of the night having to do it. So they really shouldn't have too much of an opinion on whether or not you should breastfeed your child.
Did Jeff want you to, or did he have anything?
He never really cared. He never cared. Like, he didn't care. It was whatever. If they were eating and healthy, like, that's really all that mattered. He didn't care at all. I never even really talked to him about it, because it's not really, again, it's not really up to anybody else, because it's my boobs, and it's a lot of work. I wish probably that I could have done it for longer, but I don't feel bad about it. Like, I never felt bad. I never was hard on myself. It's like I did my best. And that was that. My mom couldn't do it either. A lot of the women in my family had a difficult time with it.
Okay.
Yeah. The only person that really breastfed for a while was my aunt, but she's not blood related. So I always kind of wondered if that's like, if it has anything to do with that. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah. So my mom didn't breastfeed.
Okay.
And I turned out wonderful.
Yeah. In the first year of life, and especially the first month, it is very common for moms to stop breastfeeding. And that's because of many different reasons. In a study conducted, the top reasons were the baby had trouble latching on or sucking, the mom thought that they were not producing enough milk, the baby lost interest, the baby began to bite and breastfeeding became painful for the mom, and also they wanted their bodies back. Morgan could relate to a lot of these issues, and there are easy steps that can be helpful in fixing all of these issues. So first and foremost, Morgan said that she didn't like it because her baby would fall asleep and she tensed up and couldn't relax. So it's really common for moms to not want their baby latching on all the time, because every time the baby would fall asleep, she would try to move the baby and then he would wake back up and start sucking again. So it's really important for moms to look for feeding cues. And these feeding cues include rooting, mouth activity, hands in their mouths, or doing a lot of tongue action. So you don't want to feed a baby that's too tired or is crying, because they're not going to get a good feed then. And that could help out with the baby falling asleep at the nipple. Also, Morgan said that it was very painful for her. So it's really important for moms to know how to latch on correctly. And it's the lactation consultant's job to help the mom with latching on as well. So you want the baby to have their mouth wide open, and then you want the baby to latch onto the nipple. You don't want the only thing in the baby's mouth to be the nipple, because that's when pain occurs, and that's when you can get cracking nipples and bleeding nipples. So the mom should know that the baby's mouth should be wide open, so that they have a little crease right here when we open our mouths wide. And you want most of the breast in the mouth instead of just the nipple. So a lot of the areola should be in the baby's mouth as well. And that ensures that the nipple is all the way in the back of the mouth, so that it shouldn't be painful, because we want this to be a nice bonding experience between mother and child. And a good way to relax before breastfeeding will be just looking at your baby, massaging your breasts so that the milk is able to come out more easily, listening to some peaceful music, or even doing breathing exercises. All of these things could really help for the mom to relax and really get a good feeding in. Moms usually think that they are not producing enough milk, and usually this is not true. The only way for a mom to know that a baby is not getting enough milk is by going to the doctor and seeing if the baby has gained weight or not. If the baby is not gaining weight, that usually means that they are not getting enough milk. But if they are gaining weight, then they're perfectly fine. A lot of moms also think that since they aren't drinking enough or eating enough calories, that they are not producing enough milk, and this is not true. There's nothing that you can really eat or drink to make you produce more milk. And in Morgan's situation, she was using breast milk plus formula, and also her baby wasn't feeding right from the nipple. She was pumping. So all of these things contribute to making less milk. So you really want to exclusively breastfeed in the first 6 months of life, and really feed at the nipple as much as you can, because that will enable the milk to come and your milk supply to keep growing. It's a supply and demand relationship. So if a baby is feeding all of the time, it's actually a good thing, because then you are producing more and more milk for your baby. If you're putting formula in there, that just means that you're not breast pumping, or you're not feeding the baby for, even one feed. That can lower your milk supply. So it's really, really important for moms to know that, and it's really important for them to know that babies should just keep feeding from the nipple, and that'll make you have more and more milk. She thought that since she was using formula, that other people could feed the baby, and that's true. But babies, you can also feed the baby with breast milk from a bottle. So If you want someone else to feed the baby, if you're at work or you're running errands, then that's totally fine. As long as you're pumping, another person can feed the baby that breast milk. So you don't need a formula for other people to feed your baby. One of the big things is that if your mom or people in your family did not breastfeed, then it's actually really likely that you're not going to breastfeed either, because you don't have anybody to relate to. And also, if the father of the baby isn't giving you much support, then you probably aren't going to breastfeed either. So it's really important for lactation consultants or any kind of support to sit down with the mom and really see what they're thinking before they have the baby. So asking open-ended questions, asking if they plan to breastfeed, if they know all the benefits to breastfeeding. You don't want to throw information at them, but you want to subtly tell them all of the benefits to breastfeeding and really tell them that they have support, and they have support outside of the home as well. It's important for the father to be there, because you want the father to know that the mom should be breastfeeding and it's the healthiest thing for their baby. And you want the father to give the mom support when they're feeling vulnerable. And it is a very vulnerable time for the mom. So even if you want grandmom or mom to come with you to see a lactation consultant or see a support group, it'd be really beneficial to bring the whole family and get everybody on the same page so that the mom feels fully supported and knows that this is the healthiest thing for her and her baby, and knows all of the benefits that go along with it. So all of these problems that moms usually have are very easily fixed, and it's really important for people like us, lactation consultants, to give mom and the whole family all of the information they need and really know that they have support, and we are here to help them, and we want this to be the best experience for them.